What is up, everybody? Mr. Curtis here. Welcome to 7.4 Decolonization in the Middle East. Decolonization, if you forgot, is the attempt to get rid of imperialism or get rid of Western countries trying to take over, or any government or any group that had taken them over. We're going to focus on the Middle East here. We've done India, Vietnam, and Africa. We're going to really focus in on 3 different places in the Middle East here. I'm going to just get right into this. We are almost done with these videos. We only got a couple left. I think we're going to have 5 more, so we're almost there. So a couple of different places. First one is a place called Turkey. If you don't remember Turkey, or if you don't know, Turkey used to be part of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was run by a group called the Turks. After World War I ends, Turkey had been on the losing side in World War I. And World War, this is all a review, by the way. World War I, we have the Treaty of Versailles that's signed to end it. And the winners, British and the French specifically, punish the losers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. So they're going to punish those 3 countries. And the way they punish the Ottoman Empire is they said, your empire is done. Your leaders are done. You're out. New governments everywhere in your region. So the British and the French take over these 3 places. They're called the Mandate System, which is we did in the end of World War I. So that's a little review for you. And these 3 areas are going to be taken over the British and the French. They give Lebanon their own country. And then they say to this area here, which is the main part of the Ottoman Empire, you are the Turks who run the Ottoman Empire. We're going to let you have, through negotiation, the Turks are asking for it, and there's a negotiation between the 2, are granted their own country. And it's going to be referred to as Turkey. And the leader of this country and the leader of this movement to gain their own country, and in this negotiations with the British and the French, is this guy right here. His name is Kemal Ataturk. He is takes on the title like the father of the Turks. He's very prideful in who he is, believes he's a leader of the Turkish people, which he ends up becoming. And his goal is to westernize the country. And the goal of his group, who are known as the Young Turks, is to modernize and westernize the country. And when I say modernize and westernize, we refer to trying to become more like Britain, France, the United States, in terms of culture, in terms of government and all that stuff. So what they do is they create a democracy. So no more empire, no more sultan, no more ruler who is hereditary. We are now going to have a democratic government where people vote and elect their officials in. They also increase women's roles. So up until this point in a lot of Middle East countries, and we still see it somewhat today, women before Ataturk took over didn't have a choice in marriage, weren't allowed to get educated. Really those 3 C's, cook, clean, and care for the children. That's gone. They're going to allow more increased roles of women in the region. They're going to be allowed to have choice in marriage. They're going to be allowed to participate in local issues. They're going to be allowed to get an education. And that's a big deal for women, especially in the early 1900s. They're going to end Arabic script and allow more Western alphabet, meaning they're going to go to an alphabet structure instead of symbols like you see in Arabic. Also modernize the military and economic system. Basically, the theme here is to update and to modernize. The Regents loves Ataturk. They look at him as a hero. It's always a positive with Ataturk. Modernize the country. It's usually seen as a good thing in relation to the Regents and the question. So if you ever see Ataturk, anything about Turkey, good, positive, nice thing. Shifting gears here a little bit, we're going to come into this region right here, which was a British mandate during World War I. And this is the movement known as Zionism. And Zionism is a Jewish nationalist movement. So this is a push amongst not all Jewish people, but a lot of Jewish people around the world in the late 1800s, early 1900s, for the Jewish people to have their own country. So and we've talked about this in class, and it's this dilemma. People were like, well, Jewish people aren't an ethnicity, are they? Are they a nationality? Do they have their own country? But so some people who were, especially before World War II, some people who were Jewish living in Germany saw themselves as German first and Jewish second. Some people saw themselves as Jewish first and German second. And this push, though, amongst Jewish people is called the Zionist movement. And it's the push to get back the Holy Land, which they believe they were promised in the Hebrew texts and scriptures, in the Torah, that is the land promised to them by God. So in this case, there's one man who, these are just a couple terms just to get us straight for the Regents. Is a man named Theodor Herzl. He's right here. This is him. He's a writer from Central Europe. He's Jewish. And in the late 1800s, he starts writing about how Jewish people should leave Europe and start resettling in the Holy Land. They should just start moving there and going to reclaim this land and to push to get back this land, specifically Jerusalem, which is holy to both Jewish people, Christians, and Muslims, to go back there. And this push happens in the late 1800s while all these other nationalist movements are going on in Austria-Hungary and Germany and unifying and splitting up countries and whatnot. World War I happens. And after World War I, coming back here, like I showed you, the British take over this area. This is Israel right here. And a document's written by a Lord Balfour, who was from Britain. And he basically says that we should give Jewish people their own land in the Middle East, in their Holy Land. And it leads, even though it doesn't happen after World War I, it leads to an increase in Jewish nationalism around the world, that these people should go back and should move back to the homeland. Fast forward 25 years, and we don't need to go and talk too much more about the Holocaust, but the Holocaust happens, and 6 million of the roughly 10 million Jewish people in Europe die and are killed at the hands of the Nazi invasion, of anti-Semitism, and the 4 million who are left behind are displaced. A lot of them don't have homes anymore. So a push is made after World War II to create an official Jewish country in the Holy Land that people have been asking for the past 60, 70, maybe even thousands of years, depending upon how far you want to go back. And the United Nations, which had just been created, voted to give Israel part of this region. And it's called the Partition Plan. It's another partition plan, just like we see in North Korea, in Vietnam, in India, where you split Pakistan and India up. And this partition plan happens, and Israel when they gain their independence, a lot of Muslim people are displaced, meaning they leave and go to the Muslim area. Some stay behind, but it leads to this source of tension. And on the day that Israel gains their independence, which I believe, don't quote me, January 1st, 1948, all the surrounding Muslim countries declare war on Israel. Israel is backed by the U.S. and the Western powers. They win, even though they're a new country. It is the beginning, maybe not even the beginning, but a big source of tension between Jewish people in the region and Muslim people in the region. And we still see that today. If you watch the news and you saw the horrifically awful kidnapping by Hamas, which is a Palestinian government organization and group of innocent Jewish people who were at a concert. And I don't want to date myself with this video because I don't know when you're going to watch it, but people still being held captive today, leading to the Israeli government invading parts of the Palestinian region. The key to this is it is still a source. This is an enduring issue. This is still a source of conflict today. This has been going on for well over 80 years and even before that. So we have Israel today as a very close ally with the United States. They are a democratic government. They share intel with terrorist organizations around the world with the United States. On the other side, we have the Palestinian groups who have been displaced. We have a lot of Palestinians who've had to leave their country. And if you look around, almost 5 million Palestinians who have fled. So it's a source of conflict and a very, very tense thing around the world today. My last spot is the Iranian Revolution. We'll talk more about this in class, but basically they're in Iran. So I'm going to come back here for a second. Iran is here. Turkey is here. Israel is here, just so you can kind of get a sense of where everything is. In 1979, there was a corrupt government in Iran. It was led by a guy named the Shah. The Shah is hugely unpopular among the Iranian people. He is pro-West. You can see this is him up here. He's wearing a suit and tie. His wife's wearing this colorful dress. You can see they're pro-West. This is the guy leading the revolution. He is not pro-West. He is in favor of what we call a theocracy. He wants a government based on, in this case, Muslim values. So the Shah gets sick. He leaves the country, and a revolution starts in which the Ayatollah Khomeini, this guy right here, leads his people to overthrow the government. He wins. This guy wins. And it's a revolution in Iran. He sets up what is known as the Islamic Republic. He crushes all opposition groups, pushes them out, and then he limits freedoms. This is the opposite of Ataturk, right? So we talked about Ataturk being pro-West. This is anti-West. He bans Western books. You can't read something like The Great Gatsby, for example. You can't read Lord of the Flies. Those books become banned. Women are forced out of their jobs. All right. They had certain rights and freedoms, and they're pushed out of that. And his goal is, and at the time, and it's still a goal of Iran today, is really focusing on the end of Israel and building up of their nuclear weapons. So today, Iran is trying to build up nuclear weapons. Iran, if you want to make a big connection here, Iran supports the group Hamas that kidnapped the people in October in Israel. They are a source of huge conflict with Israel today. They're anti-Israel. The government has held conferences on denying that the Holocaust happened. Bad people. So if you kind of come back, usually look at this guy, good guy, this guy, not so much, but this guy also kind of a little corrupt. So that's what I got. 3 different places, a lot of info, a lot of facts here. I'm going to shut up and get out of here. You got any questions, let me know. I'm out.